Hi guys, today I don't want to talk about VFX inside of 3ds Max, but more about useful apps and little tools for your cell phone that you can use on set or just in general that are handy if you're shooting stuff for your VFX videos for YouTube or Vimeo or wherever you upload them, Facebook. So today we're only going to spend a little time in Max, but rather in the App Store overview, because I have an iPhone, so I can relate to those apps a little better. But I'm sure I have the apps, or maybe even all of them, are available for Droid phones as well. And long story short, this is what we're going to do today. So I close the first tab, which is our website in Candy. And the first step I want to show you is the Storyboard Composer. So if you want to shoot your little action sequence movie like Freddie Wong does on YouTube or the Corridor Digital guys, this is a cool app where you can pre-stage of what you want to happen to get the gist across with all other members on set and the like. And with some easy clicks, it has all those shapes preset. You can animate this and have it as slides and create a quick visual storyboard of what's going to happen or what's supposed to happen when you shoot. So this is a app I recommend for all kinds of storyboard work to give others an idea of what you had in mind of what you want to shoot. It's $15, but it's the best storyboard tool out there so far that I came across. So that's why I present that here for you if you are into storyboarding and pre-staging of what you want to see. The next one up I find super useful if you're on set and you want dedicated information about where the sun is and what the intensity of the sunlight was at the time of shooting. And this app Helios here gives you exactly that. It shows you in a compass kind of way where the sun is right now. It uses the GPS information on where you are in the world right now. There it is, the longitudes and latitudes and all that. And it uses that information to determine where you are, and then determines from that position on where the sun is right now, at what time of the day, and what the intensity of the sun is. As you can see on the other pictures further down, this is the route the sun's taken at that day, depending on the time of the year. It's higher, lower, etc. You know how the sun goes. But with this app, you only know where the sun is right now when you're filming, which is useful information inside of 3ds Max to relight your scene then in post. It also shows you where the sun is going to be in 2 hours from now, which is useful because sometimes the shooting is delayed or you do a retake a little later, and all these kind of things that just can happen on set. And with this app, you're prepared to know where the sun is going to be ahead of time. And all this information you just record at that time, and here's your color information on what your light qualities have to be when you relight the scene in 3ds Max using like a V-Ray sun or V-Ray light, and you get the Kelvin information of the sun and all those values there, and where and how far the shadow falls and all that stuff. So this is a super useful app that is helpful to relight your scene later on in post. And there's a second app that is a little bit cheaper, just 99 cents. It's called Sun and Moon, which does pretty much the same, just its overall overview is not as nice, like with the curves where the sun's going to be in where it was before and all that stuff. But it is pretty much the same. You let it determine, or you determine yourself where you are in the world and what time of the day it is, or you click Find Where I Am, and it gives you an idea where the sun is right now, angle-wise, on a compass, north, south, west, east, and the intensity of the light, and that'll give you an idea how you relight your scene later and how long the sun's going to be up and the likes. Just with Helios, I like a little better that it shows you where it's going to be in 2 hours on like a curve and the like. So I like Helios over Sun and Moon, but Sun and Moon is just 99 cents, so I just want to point it out that this one is out there. Because what you can then do inside of your 3ds Max here in your scene is you go to your utilities and create a daylight system here, and you use the same compass information. You see here, if I get rid of the grid, north, south, east, west, and here inside your sun, you hack in your location. It's a skylight. You have your intensities, and based on where you're on the location, this is going to change. So let's do setup. Get location. I am in New Orleans, Louisiana, and you hack in what hour of the day it was when you were on set shooting, and what's month of the year, because that determines how high the sun is. And when you have all that back in and you hacked all this information in, see how the sun is moving around here, you get the position of the sun exactly where it was on set while you were shooting. So that's super useful, and that's what you use those sunlight applications for on your phone or tablet or Android, or your iPhone or Android, because it will help you big time to relight. Because once you have that set up, you just link your V-Ray sun to this light here, turn this one off, and you'll have a pretty good match on where the sun was on set. So back to our apps. Along with where the sun is and the like, it's always good to have a compass on you. This is a free app with the newer iPhones, and I believe with all Android phones, they have a compass built in. So, but I just want to point it out because it's important to have a compass on you. Because what I do is, for example, if I'm by a tripod and the camera is angled in a certain way, I hold the iPhone right next to the camera in the same angle and take a snapshot of the compass, because then in a coordinate system of north, south, east, west, I know what angle the camera was looking at. And again, this will help in connection with the information about the sunlight and the intensity of the light and all that. And I just take snapshots of this compass right next to objects that are important in the scene, like a light rig, the camera, deflectors, all these things. And then I know on a coordinate system how they were angled. And that's why I tend to use a compass for that. And along with a compass comes a other super handy app that's just $1.99, but it comes with 5 apps in one, because this has levels and those guru meters to find out certain angles exactly. Same here for what angle was a certain light on set, what angle was the camera aiming at, or what angle was the deflector, because then in 3ds Max or in your 3D app, if you want to relight and put a deflector at the same position where it was on set, you know what angle you have to put it, because you recorded all that information on set by simply holding that right next in the same angle of the deflector and then taking a snapshot of your screen with the power and the menu button pushed together. It makes a snapshot of what you see, and then you have this information. You just got to label it right there and then, so you know which item on set this belonged to. And yeah, here's levels, measurements in centimeters and inches, angles, very helpful on set to find out what a certain angle a tree was leaning, for example, or a deflector, light, camera. So this app is super helpful to figure all that stuff out on set and keep track on what was where and what angle. So along with the units comes a unit converter, which I personally need because I'm from Europe, I'm from Germany, so I use the metric system, where here in the US they use imperial. So I'm all the time converting back and forth, because out of the pocket I don't know how many meters 27 feet is, for example. I just know a rough estimate, but on set for measuring distances between objects and from camera, you better have that accurate. So you need a long ruler or those pull-out measurement bands. And I always have my unit converter handy. This one is free. And that way I can quickly measure distances, volumes, and all that stuff that's interesting and important to know later on to rebuild your scene in 3ds Max from what you have going on set. So unit converter is super important if you're not super familiar with either metric or imperial. Next one up, speaking of units, my measures and dimensions. I find that super helpful. So you take a picture on set on what is where, and you can draw those little arrows. And you need one measurement or two measurements, and it can automatically out of that determine a volume of things. And if you draw this little ankle with your fingers on your screen of your phone, it'll automatically measure this ankle here. And those informations will help later on to rebuild objects in 3D to match perspective and have the right measurements on that they were on set. You can color all these information, have it in inch, feet, millimeter, centimeter, and the like. But super helpful to determine perspective-wise what was how long, what was how deep, what were the ankles. It can do volumes as well. So I have that thing always at hand before I go home to measure things on set and measure distances. Like here, how long was the living room, what was the measurements of the window, of the door frame, etc., etc. And you can email those to you, which if I have a good network connection, I always email the picture to my business email. So then I have it on my phone and as a backup on my mail server in the cloud if you want. So this is super helpful to measure things on set and keep track for later on what was where and how big and how far. Along with that comes documents to go. This is pretty much for $10 your Office suite from Microsoft on your phone. It comes for iPhone, iPad, and I believe for all the Android phones as well. But this is pretty much Word, Excel. Here you see spreadsheets, you can color and all, and it can read all the regular formats as well. Like it can read Word documents, Excel sheets you have, like lists of shots, lists of takes, and so on and so forth, lists of items, props. And this is your keeping track of things, taking down notes on the go, full Office suite for $9.99 for your phone or iPad. And I like that to take down notes real quick, scribble stuff, or hack down my measurements and the like of what I did on set and what shot and take we're on. So I recommend that. There's a free version of that too, a light version that I believe doesn't save and read all the formats, because the full version pretty much reads every format your PC or Mac can read as well. So you can prep stuff at home, take it on set, open it on your iPhone, iPad, and continue work on it, and then re-upload it to the cloud. Next one up, to scribble stuff down, can be used for storybook stuff too, is Sketchbook Mobile from Autodesk. This is a painting tool where you use your fingers that pretty much has the full feature list of the Photoshop painting tools like airbrush, pencil, brushes. It features full layers. You have a full color wheel to paint stuff on, to pick stuff from. See, this is all painted with a little stylus on an iPhone or iPad, and what I like is that it features layers. Like if you're familiar with Photoshop, you'll feel at home with this one pretty quickly, and it's only $2. And I know there's Photoshop Mobile as well, but Photoshop Mobile only uses the filters for unsharp masking or blurs or color corrections rather than actually painting. So if it comes to painting on your iPhone or iPad, that feels the closest to like Coral Painter and the like, Sketchbook Mobile from Autodesk is the way to go, just $2. And to quickly paint what was where on set or scribble down an idea for other people, what you have in mind, again, to support your storybook and that kind of stuff. This is an app that will help you with that. It's your block and pencils and airbrush on the go. And this is an app that I'm pretty stoked about, Microsoft PhotoSynth. What it does is you take a bunch of pictures just with your camera, and it stitches them together based on overlapping features of the pictures. Like if pictures need to overlap, you better take a crop mode on set, and it stitches them all together, and based on how many pictures you took, you get a pretty good panoramic image here. And this can be used as reflection map, or even as your poor man's LDR lighting if you map that on a sphere, as your environment map, and like throw it in a V-Ray light material, or as a texture map on a V-Ray spherical light. This can be used as a nice little reflection map, and it's the cheap and non-professional way of having the silver balls that you usually bring on set, those garden globes that you use to get HDRI 360 reflections. So this is another one off a beach. This person didn't take the sky or floor, but just for the environment reflections, this would have held up pretty well. Like you see some stitching here, and there is stitching down here and here, but overall for being generated on a phone while you were there, this is not too bad at all for basic reflection purposes. So Microsoft PhotoSynth exists for your iPhone app. You can download it and use it to make quick and cheap reflection maps and stitch them right there and then. And along with that, here's a little neat piece of hardware for iPhones and for 3GS and 4. This is a fisheye lens that you can attach to your lens right here. Let's check this screenshot. This is on a Samsung Galaxy, so it works on different phones too. This is a mini fisheye lens that you can attach to your phone lens and to shoot wider angle pictures on set of what you're dealing with as a witness camera. This is how it looks on an iPhone right here. And $50 is not crazy expensive for being able to shoot wider angle. Same there, you shoot wider angle pictures, and then in collection with the PhotoSynth app, you can quickly stitch together pretty holding up reflection map on set just in a matter of minutes, and right there and then. If you're quick enough in the same lighting situation as what you were filming. Here's another one on tablet, but that's pretty cool. Fisheye lens for your phone for $40 to take wide-angle witness pictures on set. And speaking of angles, the next one up that I recommend is a Viewfinder app, because different formats you should real filming come in different aspect ratios and the like, different croppings and whatnot. And this Viewfinder app through your phone will show you pretty quickly what will be within your viewfinder and what's outside, what would not be taken into consideration with a certain lens. This is the Cine version with all the Cine formats. There's a free version one, the basic one, and a pro one, but the big difference is just that it features different formats. So I would recommend the Cine version because it features all the common aspect ratios and the like where film is shot in. So as your digital viewfinder, this is your app right here. And the next one up I have is a digital DSLR slate, which I find super useful because you can hack all kinds of information about who's the on-set soup, who's the director of photography, what's the project, date, and all that. And it can read data out of a data sheet, or you can hack it in yourself, what scene you're on, what FPS, and all that. You hack in your ISO speed, aperture, shutter, and all this. And it'll skip through a bunch of those images in the first couple of frames of when you hit start here on the app, and you just hold that in the camera, shoot that, and then walk away, just you would do with a regular film slate where you clap and action, and you'll have all this information like the grayscale and color range up here, for calibrating and all the info in front of your movie that'll help you determine later on which shot you were actually dealing with. And here's a little video of how it looks in real life. See how it flips through the different slates of information, and you would just pause, skip through frame by frame in post before you start. That's all in your handles before you start with the actual footage, and you have all the information of what was the FPS, white balance, shutter speed, blah 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 blah. So that is super useful for working on set. Obviously it works best on an iPad rather than an iPhone because you just have more screen real estate to deal with. And next one up, a little super advanced. I don't personally have this app, but I want to acknowledge its existence, is Wireless Iris. And what that does is it remote controls with your phone little server computers. I want to show that here in the app actually. This is the dude from the company talking about it. F-stops are the little servo controllers for film cameras. In this case, it's hooked up to Red, I think, and he'll control the shutter and all that stuff with his phone. Check it out in a second. This is the servo, the actual motor controlling it. This is the unit that gets the data from the remote control, and here he controls the camera with his iPhone remotely, and then you can lock it and start shooting in that setting. And it even controls multiple cameras if you skip from camera A to B and the like. And there he controls the servos of his camera with the f-stop system and this iPhone app, the Wireless Iris. Here you can have multiple presets, 35mm, and it'll adjust the settings accordingly. Most of it you have to put in up front, but this is a pretty nifty app if you need to remote control your cameras and you have the f-stop system, the remote control system, already in place on your camera. So pretty handy. I don't have it myself, but I know it's around and I find it fascinating per se. So I would want to show it around. Very next one, speaking of camera remote controlling, is iDefCam. That's a pretty new app for 3ds Max. You can do it VFX. What this does is, let me show you the little Vimeo video here. What this does is, it lets you remote control a free Max camera with your iPhone. So he now executes the script and picks his free camera, and when you hit play on your iPhone right there, he hits play, and now he controls the free camera in his Max viewport with the iPhone. There you go. And once you're pretty happy with what you're doing, you can hit record and it'll just record a keyframe per frame, and your camera will look pretty dynamic in terms of motion because it was literally a handy camera remote controlled by your iPhone. Here's a video of the final animation that this guy recorded of stuff falling down, Mass Effects I suppose, and that's a pretty dynamic, natural looking handy cam, just that it was not recorded and tracked with an actual camera but with the iPhone app iDefCam. So if you are into natural cameras and you didn't shoot your stuff outside that way, you just want to present your product in a more natural handycam way, this would be an app for you to get. Works on Max 9, Service Pack 1 and higher, and it's pretty cheap too. So let's check in the App Store here, $1.99. This is how the interface looks like. Play to just play around, and record to actually record the keyframes. And that's pretty cool that you can now control a free camera in Max with your phone, I think. And that brings us to the last script by John Rand, CVS, separated values to keyframes. What this app does or this script in connection with an app with Accelerometer Pro is it can record X, Y, and Z in acceleration data on your phone as your cheap man's one dot tracking marker, and then you can take this data that was recorded, run the script, which stores the data in an Excel sheet in comma separated values for X, Y, Z in acceleration, and then you execute the script and it'll create a dummy with keyframes that exactly represent the movement that you had going on while you were recording that. Here's another link on his website. This is how the interface looks like. It stores it in a CVS file on a server, which is a unique URL that you can then download. And here's the frequency, which should equal your frame rate. Like, for example, if you shoot 30 frames per second, this should be 30 Hertz. If it's 24, you do 24, 48, and so on and so forth. And this is how it looks then on the server. He recorded multiple files. It's always .cvs, which can be read in Max, can be read by Excel, OpenOffice, all spreadsheet tools. And then you execute the script. And down here is the movement that he actually recorded. And it's a point helper moving around a little jittery in the viewport that has a keyframe in every frame. So this is your poor man's one dot tracking marker, and I actually used that in real production by just duct taping the phone to an object, and then the object was moving, and by recording this information I had the movement pretty good, just needed tweaks, hand animation tweaks, as so very usual. But then I had the information of how this object was moving in space by recording it with Accelerometer Pro. Here, this is the website of the app on the phone. And you can read all that on the website here. Just Google for Accelerometer Data Pro. Again, here, this is how the interface looks like. And they talk about how it all works under the hood, but I would like to show you, here's all the values, how it looks inside of 3ds Max. So first of all, here is an acceleration data I recorded, and this is the 4 columns. Again, it is acceleration, X, Y, Z, and the timestamp, the frame. And what you got to do is you got to delete the first column here that says timestamp XLX, XLY, XLZ, otherwise Max will flip out. It needs 0 as the first value, and then you take all this information and save it again as a CVS by just deleting the top column here and hit Ctrl S again. And then inside of 3ds Max, you literally run the script. Run script. It is CVS to keys. And I personally find it working better with larger scales, because then if animation is a little jittery, it at least covers more ground, more real estate, than just having a little jitter in small scale. So larger scale means further apart keyframes if you want. So let's do 1000. Frame rate right now is good. So you load the file and go. And let's see which one is the bigger file here. This one. And we let it do its thing for a second. There we go. And if we zoom out now, here's the point helper. Let's activate that we wanted to see the box. Make that like 100. And so this one was recorded for how many frames? Let's see, 670 roundabout. Let's close that out. If I zoom out, you can see a whole lot of spiderweb. But that was just me waving around the phone for a couple of seconds. And you can see how the point helper goes back and forth. I was just waving around randomly in space for a couple of times. And this is when in the end when I stopped it. when I try to hold it still, you can see the little jitter. So that's the keyframes you probably just would want to delete. Same with the beginning, the little jitter, that's before you start your movements. So let's delete the first like 100 keyframes maybe, and then you can stretch them out as well. And the more you stretch them out, or the more you reduce the keys and ease out the curves, making bezier and the like, the smoother it'll get. But then again, it might not be as accurate anymore how it was in real life. But this point helper here represents my movement that I was randomly just waving around in my room here, and it was recorded and then represented as a point helper. So you can use that then as a particle emitter that looks more natural because of its real hand movement, or I mean, duct tape it to your dog and chase him through the yard, whatever you want, and you'll get that information as a point helper and its trajectories with keyframes in Max. I actually used it here on the HTC commercial we recently finished with First Avenue machine, and once we get after the style frames, it'll jump to the point where I recorded my phone for the movement. There you go. This is the real recording, just waving around, and then again using the script CVS to keys. And this is the exact same scene file I just showed, just for the actual commercial. I used a different one. I used that one, but exact same deal here. This motion is recorded with this application, Accelerometer Pro, and John Rand's script file CVS to keys, and we use that to animate emitters more naturally in this very commercial. And here you see a bunch of making-offs. But you can all check that out on my Vimeo page if you like. Here's my profile. I have over 130 videos online. So if you want to check it out, go ahead. Feel free to roam. Feel free to comment or drop me a line. And that concludes it for useful apps you can use in your VFX production, on set or later on. And this is how I would like to close.